tragedy strikes, accidents happen. Be there when the calls come in. It's back-to-back episodes of Rescue 911. Next on Discovery Health Channel.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. On Rescue 911, an afternoon diving adventure turns into an aquatic nightmare when several divers become lost in an underwater cave.
Our flippers had stirred up everything that was behind us. I couldn't find the cave walls.
Emergency diving teams have only a few precious minutes to reach them before they run out of air.
As long as we had bubbles, we knew there were divers alive. The bubbles had stopped.
Don't miss the next Rescue 911.
Cave diving expert Woody Jasper was the only hope left for the 3 divers still trapped in the underwater caves.
The spring mouth was significantly clearer than it had been just a few minutes before. That's indicative that there's nobody stirring around. And it looked greatly like it was going to be a regular body recovery.
Woody had mapped part of this same cave system 10 years before and knew there was a safety line he could follow to get out.
About 40 feet in from the entrance of the cave system, there's a fork where a tunnel goes to the left and another straight ahead. There was some silt still lingering, and it was coming from the left tunnel. So that was clear of the direction they had gone. Most people who drown in underwater caves have become hopelessly lost. It's usually due to a sudden total loss of visibility. It's typical for divers at the last moments they have to start trying to throw their gear off. And when I saw that stuff, I took a moment to take a nice deep breath because I had a strong feeling that if the mask and snorkel were there on the bottom, that at least a body, if not bodies, were going to be directly overhead on the ceiling. There was a glimmer of a little small light and 4 legs with fins sticking down from the crevice in the top. I could see their bodies quite clearly except for their heads, and their heads were up into an air pocket that had been trapped from their own exhaust bubbles up there. I took my second regulator and started hitting the purge button to try to let them know that I was there. After 30 seconds or so of getting no response, I took the only diver I could reach, and I began to remove him as rapidly as possible.
It was a good 5 minutes before I seen bubbles coming out of the cave entrance. He come popping up out of the water with a body.
And it was Alan. People are screaming, he's not breathing. He doesn't have a heartbeat.
I gotta go back.
We all pulled him out of the water, got him on the bank. He was blue and his eyes were rolled back in his head and they were cloudy.
I knew that he was dead.
We got the water out of his lungs and we began CPR.
5-1. Okay. All right. Ready? Yeah.
And Kathy began compressions, and I was doing the breathing.
2, 3, 4.
We had a chance, and we had to take that chance and run with it.
The people at the picnic, trained in CPR by their company, took turns working on the young man.
Breathe, Bobby, breathe.
They were Alan's only hope,
3, 4, 5. Go, Bobby.
but I really didn't think he was going to make it. That was very upsetting because I knew if he's that bad, the rest are that bad. And we just waited for the next body to be brought up.
I was re-entering the cave to go do the second body extraction. I very much presumed that everyone had perished. As I swim into the dome room and start coming up into the crevice, I'm shining my light up. And this dead guy starts reaching around for me. That was certainly the high point of the day to me, to realize this guy's still alive. I kept giving him a lot of reassurances, squeezing his hand, and he'd squeeze my hand back. We were both real glad that the other one was there. All the air that I had expelled into that area when I was there the first time had revived him while I was gone.
As we were breathing for Alan, we knew we were doing some good because his eyes were starting to clear up.
They continued to perform CPR, led by Ed Templeton.
I was compressing down on his chest. Then one of them says, "I've got a pulse." His heart hit the bottom of my hand and just pushed my hand up. It just came on that hard. We moved him up further up the bank because we knew Woody would be coming out with someone else before too long.
This Thursday, for 3 compelling hours, see the astonishing stories of skin-deep changes transforming lives. They dreamed of feeling accepted.
I just want to look like a normal person.
Of feeling whole again.
We just kind of held on to the thought that they can fix this.
Bodies reshape, dreams come true.
I look at myself in the mirror and say, "Go, girl."
It's a plastic surgery before and after special. Thursday starting at 8, only on Discovery Health Channel.
Rescue 911 continues next on Discovery Health Channel.
When he took the first breath, Kathy asked me, she said, "Did you hear that?" And I said, "Yes, I hear it, and it's great." That's when somebody yelled that Woody was on his way up with another person.
Get down there, let's go.
It was Chris. He was breathing on his own. He was alive. I couldn't believe that after being underwater anywhere from 85 to 95 minutes. It's just impossible.
All right, you sure? Yeah.
And he actually left the water on his own. He walked out. It was incredible.
But Ken Ives was still missing, somewhere in the caves.
As Woody went back down to get Ken, I'm thinking, all right, if they found air, maybe he found air.
Everything was turning to our favor. The CPR people were there. The rescue cave diver was there. Chris came up alive. Alan's alive. Ken has to be alive. That's what I was thinking.
Here he comes. Go, Bobby, let's go. Get in here.
And Woody brought him up, and everybody's yelling, "Here he comes with the last one."
Let's go.
You could almost look at Ken and tell there was no hope, but we had to try.
Let's go. Come that way, Phil.
People were moving and moving fast.
They started working on him, and I said, maybe, just maybe.
We worked hard. We tried real hard.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I just stood there and stared and just couldn't believe what I was seeing. He was dead. And there's just no way of getting him back.
Paramedics from 3 counties responded. But despite their best efforts, they could not revive the 25-year-old man. Alan was still in critical condition.
I believe everybody who was involved has some guilt feelings. I will always wonder if I could have used the 400 pounds in my tank and found him, or would I be just one more person down there?
I knew for a fact that it was something I shouldn't have done. Cave diving is for only the experienced, because I'll tell you, there's nothing in there that's worth a person's life.
I get real angry because there really isn't any reason for this to happen. Training is available, it's economical. To simply swim in without proper equipment and training is unconscionable. It is unnecessary, and it's a terrible waste.
25-year-old Alan Welch was airlifted to a hospital. Both lungs were partially collapsed, and doctors feared he had suffered brain damage. He was placed in a hyperbaric chamber. In the 2 months since the accident, Alan has made a complete recovery, but he never wants to dive again. His mother, Lois, also cannot forget what happened.
The hardest part was watching him when he was in pain and it hurt him to breathe. Every time I look at him, I think how close we came to losing him.
The timing was perfect. The people were there in the park having their picnic, and it's amazing, all the different things that fell into place.
They jumped right in and did what they had to do and knew what they had to do. They brought me my son back, and I can't thank them enough.
I would never think about giving up diving, never. I just really won't ever go into a cave again.
The air pocket helped Chris Gallup and Alan survive, but it was the heroism of strangers that saved their lives.
I really do feel grateful to Woody and all of his buddies that helped, because if they hadn't been there, none of us would have made it out. None of us.
Sometimes when I drive by Ken's old house, I think about him. He was a good friend, you know, I'm gonna miss him. But you know, each day it gets a little better. As long as I remember him, he's still around.
We all should take first aid and CPR courses every year. By learning basic life-saving techniques, we might be able to save the life of someone we love. This series is dedicated to all the men and women who answer our calls for help and are there when we need them most. I'm William Shatner. Join us again next week for more true stories on Rescue 911.
Next, step inside the command center where the calls for help are answered and meet the real-life heroes who save lives. Stay tuned for another episode of Rescue 911, next on Discovery Health Channel. Real life, medicine, miracles.
Mr. Shapiro, step out of the car, please.